DxO PureRAW 6 is hot off the press, and in this video, I'm going to talk about whether or not I think it's worth it to purchase this software, whether you're a previous DxO customer or you're someone who is brand new to the DxO realm at all. We're going to talk about why you should or shouldn't purchase PureRAW 6 for your photography. Now, I'm Austin Jackson, and before we start, I do want to mention that this video is sponsored by my friends at DxO who sent me a copy of this software to use. That being said, any information that I include in this video and any opinions is my own opinion. There's going to be positive things that I like about PureRAW 6, and there's going to be a couple negative things or things that I would suggest that they do in the future. So this review is totally honest. I'm going to include a discount code right here. So if at any point during the video you feel like you're going to pick up this software, do me a favor, use my discount code. It's going to get you a few dollars off, and it's going to get me a few dollars as well. So I really appreciate you using that. That being said, let's jump into the review of PureRAW 6 and talk about what is new in the program. Now, first and foremost, when you load into PureRAW, it's similar as it has been in years past, where you have photos that you can upload into your Lightbox. You can click to add images, you can drag and drop, you can open from within Lightroom or another photo editing software. So you have a lot of options. Once you've got your images in here, you can of course check the boxes. This would be perfect if you wanted to like batch process, like you did a whole shoot. You check the box, everything taken on this date would appear, and then you can batch process it. Or for me and for a lot of my followers here on the channel, you're probably just going to be using it to individually process single images, which is what I like using it for. But regardless of which one you want to do, this is a great tool to use. So what I like to do here, I select my image and then I click process with preview. This is going to bring me to the options here within PureRAW 6. Now let's talk a little bit about what's new and what is returning. So we've got a very similar interface layout here. We've got this slider in the middle, which I love. On the left, it shows the before image. On the right, it shows after. We've got all our good stuff over here that we're used to. Now you're going to see I do like what they've done with the interface here with the processing and denoising. And they've also added DeepPRIME XD3, which is essentially the better version of just regular DeepPRIME 3. And when I say better, it's not incredibly better. It's not head and heels difference, but it is slightly better. And if you're watching this video, you may be someone who likes that, 1% better difference because you always want to get the absolute best from your images. Additionally, down here, all the optical corrections are still the same. We've got things like lens sharpness optimization, which is essentially just like a sharpness slider. We've got vignetting, chromatic aberration, and lens distortion fixes. This detects your camera and your lens and automatically does all that for you, which is great. And then we've got retouch with dust removal, which we are going to talk about a little bit later on in this video. But let's go in and look at DeepPRIME 3 and DeepPRIME XD3. So I've got this image here, which was a little bit higher ISO image. I was trying to freeze this tree, which you can see I've done a decent job, but I have missed in a few different spots. I'm going to uncheck lens distortion right here just so we can get the same image as on the left as the right. But you can see this image on the left here is relatively noisy because I shot this a little bit higher ISO, faster shutter speed, just to kind of freeze the motion, and it's pretty noisy. You can see already I haven't applied any settings. It's already done a really, really nice job here of denoising, and it, unlike a lot of other denoising software, which would kill the details in the rocks like this, it's actually retained those details and made them look really, really good and realistic. Additionally, our tree looks really good. It hasn't destroyed the detail in the tree. In fact, it's added some, which is largely in thanks to the lens sharpness optimization. You can see at 0, it's not doing anything, but if we increase this, it's sharpening quite a bit. Now, DeepPRIME 3 versus DeepPRIME XD3, if I switch between the two, you can see the difference is very, very subtle. You probably need to watch this video in 4K if you want to see the difference. But you can just see how DeepPRIME XD3 is just removing a little bit more noise, and it's keeping things just a little bit sharper. Now, like I said, the difference between DeepPRIME 3 and the DeepPRIME XD3 is very subtle. It's nothing crazy, but like if you're someone like me who you really want to have just the absolute best quality image that you can, it's maybe 1 or 2% better. So it is well worth it if you want the absolute best because it is just a little bit better. Now, I know there will be a lot of wildlife photographers watching this as well, so let's look at one quick wildlife image here before we jump on to the next feature. So when I look at my wildlife photo here, I zoom in once again. You can see this one is relatively noisy, but we have, of course, all the same options over here. Now, again, I haven't adjusted the settings at all, but on this photo, let's say we want to adjust the settings. So let's increase the luminance to decrease the noise even further. But you might find that it's going a little bit too far. So you can drop this as much as you want. I mean, you can go all the way down to 0 luminance and see what that does. At that point, you're really mostly just removing the color noise, but we are retaining a lot of the details. So for those of you that might want that little bit less maybe polished or finished look, reducing the luminance is a great option as well. Let's go somewhere right around 25. Force details essentially just keeps the details in the scene. Oftentimes it does very little, but sometimes in some images like this, it does a lot. So you can see if we look at the fur on the moose here at -100 versus positive 100, it really kind of brings the details back into that fur. So you can kind of fine tune that exactly how you want. Now let's look at the difference again between DeepPRIME 3 and then DeepPRIME XD3. Let's zoom in just a little bit more and toggle the differences. Very, very, very subtle. Truly, you do have to be probably watching this in 4K to see a difference, but you can see just a small difference over here on the hair. Now, one small thing that I don't like that I do wish they would add a feature for in the future is to increase the exposure as you look at the image. I'm okay if it doesn't bake it into the final DNG raw file, but just being able to increase the exposure as you edit, because if you look at an image like this that's very dark, if I want to denoise this image, you know, I can hardly see what I'm doing because the image is so dark. So at least as far as I'm aware, there's no way to brighten this. So that is one of the downsides that I don't like here. And because you do have to use a raw file when you sharpen, you pretty much have no choice. So if you shot your raw file really dark in the field, it can oftentimes be hard to dial in the settings that you want to use. Let's talk about another new feature, which is the dust removal. It's located down here on the bottom right in the retouch option. The fact that they gave us retouch maybe leads me to believe that there's going to be more to come within retouch later, but it does give you dust removal. So if I turn this down, you can see this image has some dust spots in it. We've got one over here, and I think there's one somewhere over here. We'll see if the software finds it for us. Now with the sensitivity low, it's not finding very many dust spots, but as I increase the sensitivity, eventually it will find that dust spot and remove that dust spot. Just like that. As I zoom out, you can continue to see the circle is still there. As I increase it, it will start to find more dust spots, and you can actually click and hold to drag to find just the right amount of dust spots. Now, as you increase the sensitivity to 100, you start to select basically anything that it might think is a dust spot, whereas at 1, it is very, very selective in what it is going to choose. So if you just find a good spot for that, wherever, you know, it's going to depend on each image. 60 I've found is a good value to start at for me, but depending on the photo, you may need to increase or decrease that as well. Now, the dust removal feature is nice to have in here because you can use it as you batch process your images. So if you're batch processing, you know, 50 images, you can automatically use this feature and it'll just take the dust spots out without you having to think and do anything. But if you are someone like me who's using Lightroom, which also has auto dust spot removal, this isn't really a feature I'm using all that much, but I guess it is nice to have there if you do want to use it. But again, if you're a Lightroom user, you may not find it all that useful. All right, so for the astrophotographers out there, this software also works very, very good, and it actually works quite a bit better than Lightroom's denoising option. We'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. But I've got my astrophotography photo here. It's already been denoised. You can see it looks really, really good. I didn't even really tweak any of the settings, but now let's talk about kind of the last big new feature here, which is the DNG processing. So when I go to export this photo, previously I just had the option for DNG, TIFF, JPEG, or Smart Object. But now when I'm within DNG, I have the option to do a uncompressed or a high fidelity compression DNG. Now, essentially what this means is that this high fidelity compression DNG is about 25% of the file size as uncompressed, which for those of you guys that have seen the rising costs of SSD drives lately, you know this will be very, very nice to have when you can downsize those DNG files. So let's look at these 3 images here in the middle. The bottom or the middle image right here is the raw file off the Sony camera. It's about 123 megabytes, 60 megapixel camera. This top image here, I exported. I didn't do anything to it basically, but I just exported it as a DNG and I did the non-compressed option. It made it 170 megabytes, so it actually increased the file size. Then I tried again with the high fidelity compression which again reduces the size, and it made it 37.5 megabytes. So that is a huge savings. That's more than 4 times smaller. Now you might be wondering, what is the downside? And a lot of people would think you might be throwing away some dynamic range. So I imported these into Lightroom just to show you the differences. This one right here is the high fidelity compression. This one is the non-compressed. You can see I've done the same settings on each. +2 exposure, -75 highlights, +75 shadows, because if there was anything that you would be throwing away with the compression, it would be the dynamic range. But you can see the 2 images are exactly identical. I'm flipping between the 2 images right now and nothing is happening. As I adjust the sliders here, you can see this is the high fidelity compression. I have excellent control of my dynamic range, and then I'll do the same thing on the non-compressed file. Excellent control of all the dynamic range in there. Both files are basically exactly the same. Now, I think I've seen a couple videos of someone doing some extreme tests, and there is a very slight difference. But for 99.9% of users, you will not be able to tell any difference without doing any crazy test. So for that reason, this is a great way to save on storage space, just to downsize your DNG files. Because this works with batch editing, you can actually bring in like your whole memory card worth of images and just batch edit them as you import them, meaning that you can just reduce the file size a ton right off the rip. So it's really nice to have that feature. Okay, so the elephant in the room here truly is, what does this software offer that something like Lightroom doesn't? I know most of you guys watching these videos are Lightroom users, so you're wondering, is it really worth spending the money on this software when I already have Lightroom, which has AI denoise now as well? So is it really worth it? Now, in my experience, if you're someone who is just looking for decent results, Lightroom does a great job of denoising for that. Now, if you're someone like me who spent a lot of money on your camera equipment and you want the absolute best quality results, DxO does give you a little bit of an edge over Lightroom, especially when it comes to detail in animals, wildlife, and in night photos. It makes a huge difference. Lightroom's denoise does not work well for night photos, at least at the time of this recording, whereas DxO does quite a nice job. Now, this is the software that I am using to denoise and to sharpen all of my photos that I'm editing, especially when they're high noise. And so I would highly recommend it if you can afford it. If you're spending $1,000 on camera gear, I think it's well worth picking up this software because it is going to give you a slight edge compared to something like Lightroom. Now, if you are going to pick up DxO, one of my favorite things about it is that the license is perpetual, meaning you buy it right now, you will own it forever. You can use DxO PureRAW 6 forever. It's not like a lot of other software where you are leasing the software and you can only use it as long as you're paying. If you pay the upfront price today, you will own DxO PureRAW 6 for as long as you want. You can use it forever. You don't have to pay again. It's not going to save your credit card or anything like that. So that is the one thing that is really nice. Again, I'll throw my discount code right here. I appreciate if you use it because it gets me a couple dollars and it'll also get you a couple dollars as well. So we can both save ourselves a couple of bucks if you use that discount code. As always, my name's Austin Jackson. I appreciate you guys being here. If you have any questions about the software, anything like that, let me know down below in the comments. But overall, my true and honest, unsponsored thoughts is that this software is good. This year's version definitely has some more improvements than in previous years. So it's definitely well worth picking up for the few awesome new features that they added. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Austin Jackson. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.